Peggle.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Ferret 64 podcast with me, your host, Yemmy the Ferret. Ferret 64 is, of course, the one-stop shop for video game news, occurrences, first impressions, and so much more. Today, it is the end of the month, so I will be showing off my video game pickups from the month of June. And you might be thinking, well, Yummy got the Switch too, so it's probably not going to be that much, right? Do you know me? So I'll be showing off what I picked up in June. Also, we got some games to talk about, and I am excited because one of my most anticipated games of the year has come out with Death Stranding 2. We'll talk about that along with some other games as well. And we got some news and coming soon to talk about too. So stick around. But first, we are going to go over what I picked up this past month. I'm going to start off with the consoles. So, yes, that's an S on there. I did get the Switch 2, as you all know. I already showed this off. I am very much enjoying my time with it. I have been playing it a little bit less than I would like to at this point because a certain game came out this week. But I was having a lot of fun just messing around with it, playing the console, playing around with it. I love the mouse mode, taking the Joy-Con off and just automatically becoming a mouse. Like, that is pretty cool, especially for, I guess just for things in the future that it can be. Like the Metroid game that's coming out eventually. We'll see if there's any mouse support with any other games that come out, but I think that is pretty cool, But I do very much enjoy the console, even though I haven't been playing as much as I want to right now, like I said. But once Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out, I'll be slamming this thing till dusk to dawn. Oh. Well, that's weird. I seem to have gotten a second Switch 2 somehow. Wait, that's not a Switch 2. Yes, I got a Wii U. That's right. I got a very good deal for a very lovely looking console. The original listing price was like $140 or something like that. And the person sent me an offer for $91. And it was literally like the same week as the Switch 2. And I said, am I going to pass that up? Like, this beautiful looking Wii U that had all the wires, even came with Mario Kart 8 installed on the console. Am I really going to pass up that deal, let someone else take that? Hell no. So, yeah, I decided to bite the bullet and buy the console. And I already have a couple games for it as well, as you will soon find out. But it runs like a charm. I got a great deal on it. Seems like the person who had the console either got it for like when they went to college back in the day or something like that, because there wasn't a lot on here, not a lot of save data on here, and it just had Mario Kart 8 installed, which was, I believe it was pre-installed on the console, so even though I did a wipe of the memory, that was still there, which is awesome. So, yeah, the Wii U, you might be seeing this sooner rather than later on streams. Also, I dug up my 3DS. This is the original 3DS. Now, I know I talked about this probably quite a while ago that I had this 3DS. This is the one that I got. Had to be like 2015 or something like that, because I was going on a huge trip for work, and I was like, well, what am I going to do? So I bought this and Pokemon Ruby Sapphire, which I think I already showed off in a past episode here. But yeah, this is my 3DS. I told y'all that I was going to show it off eventually, but there it is, 3DS. And what's the game you're playing right now, Yemmy? The game I'm playing right now is a game that I actually recently got, which is Drake and Josh, what's it called? Drake and Josh Talent Showdown. Amazing. I will talk about that game eventually. I'm almost done with it. But there you go. There's a 3DS. Along with the 3DS, I also got a DS game because you can play DS games on the 3DS, and that was Lego Rock Band on the DS. I decided to pick this up because why not? In all honesty, it did not come with the proper manual, I don't think, but whatever. So that is the DS and the 3DS right there. All right, I'm going to show off some games that we streamed. I don't know if I've shown these cases off before, but here are the couple games that we streamed this past week, or actually month. I'm sorry, this past month that I have physically. Now there is going to be one game missing from this because I don't think we're done playing it. So, hold on. Sonic Colors Ultimate. This one we recently streamed. Actually, this was this past week, so I will be talking about that one. Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection. This had one game on it that I was pining for, and that was the Sonic 3D Blast game. PS3 version, greatest hits. I believe that this is a little bit pricier now simply because they had to take this off of the shelves and off of the store fronts because they lost licensing to maybe a couple games on here, because it's not just Sonic games. It's actually a whole collection of Genesis games as well. So I think that this has gone up in price, but I'm not sure. This is a very mint copy. I believe we bought this new not that long ago, probably a little bit before they took the game down from storefronts. And I think I got it for like $20 on Amazon or something like that. And then almost like a week later, they took this offline, and the price went higher. And then finally, for the physical collection of games that we've streamed this past month, I believe I showed this one off already in a recent what I haven't picked up this past month. But Sonic and the Secret Rings, this was one of the first Sonic games we played. We got this out of the way early. I talked about it in the beginning of the month's episode of the podcast. Not that great of a game, but what are you gonna do? Next up, I'm gonna go over the brand new games, or the games that I got essentially factory sealed, I should say. Some of them are sealed, some of them I've opened because I've been playing them, including Mario Kart World, which I already showed off quite a lot when we talked about the Switcheroonie cheese. Still don't really understand why they did the red internal. Like, I feel like that the inside should just be clear, but whatever. So there's that. I feel like at this point I'm kind of... I mean, it sucks to say it, but I think I'm kind of done with the game now. Like, I haven't marked it as beaten, but at this point, like, I don't really know if there's anything else I want to do in it, which is kind of sad to say. Death Stranding 2 just came out a couple days ago. The reason why the disc is in the case is because we were playing that Sonic collection. So I took this out. I also thought that Sonic Origins Plus had 3D Blast on it, which is why I took it out. But it ended up being on the PS3 Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection, so I had to scramble and plug in the PS3 and all that stuff. But yes, I do have Death Stranding 2 here. This game was $5 on Amazon. I don't believe it had free shipping, but it was pretty cheap. And that is You Suck at Parking Complete Edition. I don't know really what this is, but it's some sort of multiplayer game where you try and park your car as fast as you can or something like that. Another one that I found on eBay for like $10. We got Dreams, factory sealed, and the shipping wasn't too bad either. I've never played Dreams, and I never thought to play Dreams, but I have it. I've kind of been wanting to get all the first-party PlayStation games, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, etc., just to have them. And this was one on the list that I didn't have. And then finally, for this factory sealed, like new games, we got The Thing Remastered. This was a long time coming. I wanted a physical version of this game because I just knew it was going to come out eventually. Night Dive Studios usually does that sort of thing, but there you go. You can see here they did a mistake with my copy. The artwork is a little bit too high. It's about maybe about a centimeter or so too high there, and it's caused the rest of it to go a little bit too high up. So when I eventually open this down the road, I will fix that, but as of right now, it's going to stay that way, being a little bit off, which annoys me. It annoys me, it does. All right, we got some more eBay games here. Okay. This game actually arrived right before Sonic Summer started, and that was Sonic Forces on the Switch. Now, I already had a copy of this game for free on the PlayStation 4, but I did want a physical copy of it, and the Sonic Forces edition on Switch was relatively cheap compared to the other versions for whatever reason. So there you go. Probably means that's probably the worst running version, but whatever. Oh, yes. I was talking about this last time I did one of these. I was getting close to collecting all of the Metal Gear Solid games physically. And here's another one, Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. This is the prequel to Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain, which did get a reference in Death Stranding, by the way. But this was this was like a 3-4 mission type game, and I remember it being free on PlayStation Plus eventually down the road. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a pretty cool, almost like a tech demo in the way. And then the the Phantom Pain came out, and that like blew me away. So this is one of the last ones I needed physically. The next one up would be Metal Gear Survive. So we'll see if that shows up eventually. All right, another game that has I literally just got these games today. So Sonic Boom: The Rise of Lyric came in the mail today. This is a Wii U game, of course. It doesn't have amazing reviews, but I thought that it would be fun to add this midway through our Sonic adventure, our Sonic Summer contest type thing. So yeah, I'll see how it is if it does get chosen on the random wheel. This next one, I need to get new artwork for it because, and I knew this coming, when it was coming. I bought this in a double pack with Sonic, and that is Super Smash Bros. 4 Wii U. You can see it's just torn at the bottom. The bottom of the cover art is completely gone. Now, like I said, I knew that going into it because the rest of it is complete. All I need is the artwork, and I'll be good. But it was in a really good deal with Sonic Boom. Sonic Boom was, or is going for about $26, and Super Smash Bros. Is going for about $20, and it was in a bundle for $31, and then I got a markdown for $28. So I said I can't really pass that up. But I will eventually get a new cover art for that because the rest of this looks really good. The manual's in there. Everything else looks good. It's just the torn at the bottom there for whatever reason. Maybe someone's dog got into it. What the dog doing? I don't know. Here's a classic, Zombie U. This is actually one of the few Wii U games I had back in the day when I originally had a Wii U. And as you can see, it is very, very, it has the white Wii U gamepad because that was the original there. This is actually in my Wii U right now. So I was just kind of using this game to test it out. I bought this game at a used game store around me just so I could have something to test that wasn't just like Mario Kart 8. I wanted to test the disk drive. So that made sure that I was all working. The next game is one. Once again, I was talking about this series during the last episode. The last time we did this, I said I was close to getting all the Batman games physically. Well, this is a unique Batman game, Batman Arkham Origins. I'm sorry, Arkham. Oh my gosh, Batman Arkham City Armored Edition. So it does have some extra content in it, making it a unique Batman Arkham game. The only one I have left to collect in this entire series is the Wii U version of Arkham Origins physically, and that'll be it. I'll be done with the entire physical collection of Batman Arkham games that are unique. Because no, I don't have the 360 version and the PS3 version and of this game. I don't need that because I have it physically already on other consoles. But this was one of the last ones that I needed. That is unique, and Arkham Origins is also a unique Wii U Batman title. I don't know how unique, but it is unique enough that I feel like I should pick it up. But Batman Arkham City Armored Edition is the first of the last, I guess you could say, of the Batman games. And then two more Wii U games. My apologies. I decided to pick this up because there is some cool features with the gamepad functionality on this, and that is Mass Effect 3 Special Edition, or Edition Speciale. This is this is Mass Effect 3 on the Wii U. I do not believe that there's any multiplayer mode to this one. It is just the campaign. Also, you can use the gamepad to direct your team and use special abilities. Also, this comes with a unique comic storybook at the beginning of the game because there was no Wii version of this game of like the series, and there's no other Wii U version of any of the other games. It's just Mass Effect 3 that got a Wii U version. So they had to take the comic version from the PS3 version of Mass Effect 2 and put that onto this disc, and then they also had to make a comic version for Mass Effect 2 that gives you your choices, your major choices. And I never have actually seen or played that version. So here we go. It's right here, Mass Effect 3 Special Edition on the Wii U. And then finally, for the Wii U games, the Piece La Resistance. Callus is about to cream his freaking pants. It is a brand new sealed copy of Star Fox Zero with bonus Star Fox Guard inside. I'm not going to be opening this box until I want to play the games. But there you go, Star Fox Zero, one of the infamous Wii U games out there with that was bundled in with Star Fox Guard. The story behind this, I wasn't planning on picking this up, just like everything else in this episode. But I got a great offer. This was going for about $40. I got an offer for $34. Brand new. Brand stinking new. Doesn't even smell. Star Fox Zero. Infamous. All right. Next up, I have a couple of PS2 games. Now, when I was putting all my games away for on my shelf during that one live stream, I knew that I was missing a lot of games from a particular series that I knew that I had the games for. So my other half found the rest of the collection, and now they're going to be added to my collection. And those are the Guitar Hero games. So the ones that I was missing from the shelf putting on video was Guitar Hero, the original Guitar Hero on PS2. We bought this for $1 at the used game store. And of course, these are mint copies. Very mint. Guitar Hero Encore Rock the 80s. This is one of the rare Guitar Hero games that I never had physically. I only had it digitally, but now, there you go. Guitar Hero Encore Rock the 80s. Next up is Guitar Hero Aerosmith on the PS2. Now, I do have the Xbox 360 version of this, so this is not a new fangled thing for my collection, but it is the PS2 version, which is a little bit different, I guess. Same thing with Guitar Hero 3, Legends of Rock. I have this game on the Xbox 360, but here's the PS2 version just to simply add to the pack. These are a little bit out of order. I apologize. Guitar Hero 2. This one is the PS2 version. Once again, all these are going to be PS2 versions. This is also another one that I never had, but I have the Xbox 360 version. It's right over there on my shelf. So don't start the wince in pain. I do have the Xbox 360 version of this. I just never had the PS2 version of this. And then finally, the last one is Guitar Hero World Tour. Once again, I have this on 360, but this is the PS2 version of the game. So there you go. There's something written inside here that I cannot show off. But yeah, there it is, Guitar Hero World Tour. So, that completes that. Also not shown here today, we found the Guitar Hero black Guitar Hero controllers that came with, I think it was Guitar Hero 3, which I believe was like the Fender Stratocaster guitar or whatever it was called. It was like the black one. I think it's on the back of this one, right there. We also found the Sunburst guitar from Guitar Hero World Tour, and then we also got a Guitar Hero 5. That red, like, glitter bombed Guitar Hero controller as well. We found those as well. The best one out of those is the Guitar Hero 5 controller. That is one that a lot of people swear by. And I do agree it was a pretty good one. Not my favorite one, design-wise, but very functional. So we found I'm not showing them off today because I already have enough here. So there you go. That was freaking almost 20 minutes of showing off games. Wow, who could have thought? All right, let's move on to what have I been playing this past week. Okay, I'm going to start off with Death Stranding 2 on the beach, of course. Why wouldn't I? From this point forward, I will be calling it Death Stranding 2 and eliminating the on the beach part. I mean, you know, it's fine that it's on. It's a subtitle on the game, but still, I'm gonna for the sake of time, I'm going to remove that from the title for now on. So, what is there to say about Death Stranding 2 that you might not already know? It's a fantastic experience. It cleanly continues on everything from the first game. It doesn't spend an egregious amount of time reteaching you things, even though there's a lot of dialogue reteaching you things, of course. But it goes by pretty quickly, especially after you leave Mexico. And then it looks graphically incredible. Like this is probably the best looking next gen game that we've gotten yet. It looks so freaking good. Now maybe it's not exactly the best looking game, but it is still a fantastic looking game. Like this thing has just an incredible graphic fidelity to it. The facial animations, the hair, the landscapes, and with the rocks, the dirt, and the buildings in the background, and all these different things. The little glitchy animations of the characters when they're talking to you through those hologram things. The cutscenes themselves, there's really no difference when you go from a cutscene to gameplay. It's literally seamless at points. And it's hard to really put into words the joy I feel while playing Death Stranding. At least, Death Stranding 2. Death Stranding 1, I adored that game. I thought it was fantastic. I really enjoyed the experience. I was having so much fun with it. So much fun, in fact, that I've been playing it offline, just doing deliveries in the background, trying to get all the places up to 5 stars, which I was almost there. And then I got a bit busy. And, of course, now Death Stranding 2 is out, so it's I'm not going to finish, getting those, last few stars just to play Death Stranding 2. I'm just going to start just Death Stranding 2, and maybe I'll get back to Death Stranding 1 eventually down the road. And I am glad that I did that, because then I would be missing out on the amazing things that they added and updated in Death Stranding 2. The first one being that the BTs are a bit different in this game. They're not all just like those standing still. Some are smaller than others, some are bigger than others, kind of guys, right? There is actually a variety of BTs to encounter in the game, and you don't really get something brand new until you get to Australia, which is the first big place that you go to. But essentially, even at the beginning of the game, the BTs seemed more active. They were moving around. They weren't making it easy for you to throw a grenade at or something like that, or shoot them. And then Australia came around, and they were and now you have the Seeker or Watcher BTs. And these things are these giant BTs who float around, and they have these blue-colored eyes that shine at you. They shine as they look around. And if you're too close to them and they see you, it does a flash, and you just hear this really loud, almost Reaper coming from Mass Effect type sound. And they attack you, essentially. And if you don't slow them down in time, then, of course, you're going to be in for some bad news. But, those things are a real new way of getting around these, BT areas. It definitely has made it a bit more... a bit more anxiety-inducing, especially when there's other BTs around as well that you're trying to take out, and then there's, a watcher back there trying, just scoping around. And you're wow, this is... pretty intense. So I was a bit afraid that how are they going to improve the BT encounters and stuff like that? Are they really going to do that much to it? And they did. I mean, just by simply adding a few new BTs here and there, they definitely have upped the ante quite a bit. Also, they've upped the ante on regular enemy encounters. So the game does pretty quickly give you a sidearm and a assault rifle, which I was a bit like confused about at first because like Death Stranding 1, you had to like literally get to like at least 5 hours in before you got any form of real gun type equipment. But this game, they give it to you pretty quickly, and of course, it's all non-lethal rounds and stuff like that, so you can't accidentally kill someone. At least right now when I'm playing. But they definitely have not only improved the enemy AI, but they've also improved a lot of what the enemies do and how they act. They also gave you a lot of more options for taking enemies out. I am flashing back to my time with a Metal Gear Solid game like Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain, because these sections go from being mostly about stealth, like okay, wrap up the random enemies and blah blah blah, to kind of being more like start out stealth, go into a firefight mode when or if you get caught, and I think that makes the enemy encounters with regular grunts a bit more interesting because you start off and you try and map your route around. Sometimes things will mess up, and then you have to start pulling out the other weapons that you have. And they do give you a wide range of weapons to use between assault rifles, shotguns. They have a new tranquilizer sniper rifle that you can use. There's a grenade launcher pistol that shoots out like a tranq grenade launcher, whatever. There is also these electric staffs that you can get from one of the people that you help in the field, and they you can throw those or you can use them to fight, much like the enemies themselves. So yeah, there's this whole new slew of weapons to use in these various regular enemy encounters, these human encounters, and it has really made it a lot of fun to go through these areas and clear out the enemies. And actually, there is now a reason to go through and clear out every enemy, because once you neutralize an enemy base, not only will it be empty for quite some time, a couple days at the most, the enemies also will not have the same armaments. They will have less presence in their areas, and it'll actually be easier to either take them out or sneak past them for some time afterwards. So I thought that was a pretty cool thing because, you know, when you fight the mule camps in the first game, it's like, okay, we're doing this again. Here we go. Pretty much unlimited spawning enemies at some points. And it's nice that in this one, it's like there's a reason for actually going to these mule camps and taking them all out instead of like leaving the couple alive or just kind of like not worrying about them and going around them. And of course there are still missions where you go inside of mule territory and whatever, but it's like it's not as bad as anything. So that was pretty cool. I really enjoy the new weapon types, and I think that there's, you know, they've already showed off like a new enemy type in the game. I only encountered it once, but I can tell that that's going to be a bit of a challenge once they start putting them into the game a bit more. But I think Australia is going to keep with these regular like militia type guys, and then eventually we will get to the new enemy types. On top of all that, it has an incredible story going on in the background while you're delivering all these various things to people. And you know, a lot of people are like, "Oh, the story is too confused, and the story is whatever." Whatever excuse people say. And look, honestly, I don't think Death Stranding 1 is that bad of a story to follow. I don't think so at all. I think that it's not that bad to just kind of like sit there and absorb all the things that the information that they're giving you. And then Death Stranding 2 kind of starts off, and it just kind of like picks up a couple months later from the events of the first game. So it's not that big of a time gap. It's 11 months, and you just kind of, you know, it just kind of picks up from there. It just kind of keeps going. It does a little bit. You have a bit of a recap you can do in the game as well. But you know, even if you're fresh to the series, Death Stranding 2 is the first game that you're playing for whatever reason. They still give you enough information during the game to, you know, catch you up on the various lore and stuff like that. Like they kind of re-go over a bunch of basic elements from the first game that you need to know in this game to understand what's going on, right? And one of the key factors of that is the use of Doll Man, who is a new character for the game. His Ka is stuck inside this doll, and he's kind of like living in there now. He's Doll Man, who is it's a pretty cool character. I really enjoy the animation style. They lowered his frame rate and all that stuff. You can also use him as an equipable. You can actually equip him and throw him into the air, and he can actually scope out and zoom around and see what's in the area and report back to you, which is pretty cool. But yeah, he's kind of like the exposition guy for when you meet him. He kind of goes over some of the basic stuff that you should know at this point, or you probably already know at this point. But he just kind of reiterates some things or fleshes out some things for you. And he does that while you're either walking around or during cutscenes and stuff like that. And I mean, as you might have guessed, the main gist of this game, as I predicted when they were doing the world tour for Death Stranding 2, like that orchestra thing going on, and Kojima was doing all that stuff with the game. You are trying to link the world at this point. You start off with Mexico, which is like the quote unquote tutorial, and your goal is just to go through Mexico, link all the places together. You fight a brand new boss, BT, and then you get some information from Deadman. He gives you some stuff for Lou, aka BB-28, and you make your journey back to Sam's like hideout. And of course, things have gone wrong. I don't know how much I want to talk about. I mean, this is like the first like couple hours of gameplay here, but essentially the ball starts rolling when Lou is captured, and Sam, Norman Reedus' character, goes into a bit of a tumble mentally, and you can actually see how old Sam is getting. He's not dyeing his hair, he's not trimming his beard, he just looks very old. But when he gets the news that Fragile is working under the banner of Drawbridge now, and they have like this submarine that can go through the tar, and you're supposed to link up the other continents to the UCA's, the UCA network, to help just help the world, essentially. Something happened in the other areas of the world when we went across the United States and formed all those strands for the UCA and bridges. Something happens to the other places around the world. So in order to help them out, we need to get them all on the network. So you start off with Mexico. It goes pretty well. Lou gets captured. You go into a tizzy. You got some newfound. They give you a mission to do, essentially. I'm the words are escaping right now, but they give you a mission that gives you some aspirations, and then you start off into Australia. And right now, I'm about halfway through Australia. I've been really trying to work harder this time around in getting places up to like 4 or 4.5 stars, or even 5 stars if I can, before moving on. And I originally was like, okay, we're in Mexico. I kind of want to get to the next place, though, because they kept hinting that you're going to go somewhere bigger and better, especially in those trailers. And I was like, okay, I got Mexico done. I got these all up to like the 4 stars. I think I'm going to go to the next area. The nice thing is that once you go to the next area and you progress the story a bit, they actually allow you to fast travel back and forth whenever you want between Mexico and Australia, and I'm sure there's going to be other places as well. So that is a cool thing. So it's not like the first game where you're kind of locked out of that first area until you go back. Well, now, you can go back and forth because you have the submarine that can travel through the tar currents, which is pretty cool. So, that being said, that's all I really want to say about the story in the game and where it goes. You can kind of infer things happening in between if you want to, but I will not be giving any spoilers because I think this is one of those games where you need to experience for yourself. And no, I'm not going to be streaming this one, at least not right now. Maybe 5 years down the road, I might pop it in for another playthrough. But if you saw me play Death Stranding 1, you should have a good idea of at least what the game entails. And I think that it would be an okay thing to just start with Death Stranding 2. If you did watch gameplay of the first one, if you did play the first one, of course. But you are missing like that whole dynamic of the first game and that whole journey with BB and AKA Lou in the first game that you kind of just need to experience, right? And Death Stranding 2, with it being a continuation of the first game, it's only 11 months later. Like, it's not really that far away. I think it would definitely be worth it to at least try and play through the first game before going to Death Stranding 2. But, I have the same problem too, where it's like, okay, if a sequel comes out and it's 2025 and I want to play games from 2025, sometimes I'll just, be like, okay, I'll just play the sequel. But for a game like this, it's like I understand people wanting to do that, but I guess I would say like I would probably play Death Stranding 1 first and then play Death Stranding 2 because there's also going to be a lot of characters that you meet that are from the first game, Dead Man and whatever. So you definitely you at least want the context for that stuff as well. And I think that the story from the first game is excellent too. So it's like you're missing out on like that whole big story with Mads Mikkelsen and all that. So, but I would recommend playing this game. Like if you want to play it, just play it because I feel like no matter what, I think you're gonna enjoy the game. Whether you're a complete lore master or not. You could just view this game as like I'm delivering packages between two locations and there's a story going on in the background. It's hard to ignore this story because it is very bombastic and in your face. Those cutscenes are very well done and there's a lot going on in them. I mean, one of the first major boss fights of the game is like this huge robot type thing that has weak points on it, and it really reminded me of like a Metal Gear Solid type boss fight or encounter. And the game just kind of keeps throwing these Metal Gear Solid kind of references, like Phantom Pain, as I already said. They mention like it's a Phantom Pain, and they kind of wink at the camera, And then there's like I said, there's like these robotic like tar monsters now that have weak points, which really reminded me of something from Metal Gear Solid. And of course, they updated the stealth in the game as well, as we already saw in the trailers. There is a character who looks like Solid Snake, but he's not exactly Solid Snake. He's not really Solid Snake. I guess we'll find out when I meet him. But with all that being said, I'm really enjoying the game. I've played probably about 15 hours now. 9 of those hours were on like Friday into Saturday. And it's just been a really good time. I'm playing it almost exactly the same pace as I did for the first game, except I'm spending more time and care trying to get these locations to 5 stars because I'll be honest, there's a lot of things, at least up until the 4-star rank, that were very useful for not just like later on in the game, but like right away in the game. Like different versions of the grenades, better versions of the assault rifle and shotguns. The grenade pistol was one of the things that I got from getting 5 stars. Like all these things were really, really important. They're really, really helping with the rest of the game. And so that's why I would recommend like, hey, if you're in Mexico, do your thing, do your thing. So yeah, I would definitely recommend playing this one. I'm giving it 2 thumbs up already. It's also got like this dynamic weather in it too, as well. Like there's like these rivers that swell and drain with how the weather is outside. There's like dust bowls that can happen where dust clouds will roam in and you can barely see anything in front of you. You gotta be scanning and moving carefully. It's like so cool. And then of course there's the Australian outback. When the BTs are around, it doesn't really rain. Like it rains, but like the sky is all like red, like this red hue. It's so cool. And there's a lot of different like climates as well already. Like just in Mexico itself, there's like the entire like desert area. There's the border that you cross with like buildings and stuff like that. There's also a tropical type area. There's also like a mountainous area, and it's just like it's so dynamic with these areas that you go through. And then on top of all that, there's like these new little like cute. I'm gonna say that they're kind of cute. These little cute little tar creatures that are roaming around. One of them kind of reminds me of like those Boo characters from Mario that kind of like slide across the floor. They just kind of just worm around a little bit. There's also other ones that are like giant tarantulas, which are pretty cool. And there's also like these eels that are swimming around in the waters at times. So they've also added in some extra hazards for your journey as well. So, all that being said, very, very much enjoying my time with Death Stranding 2. I'm giving it the 2 thumbs up, and I'm giving it the full recommendation at this point. And it's looking to be like it's going to be another wild, wild ride, folks. So, if you want to check it out, make sure you do that. And Hideo Kojima, I'm a believer. I was also playing Lost in Random, The Eternal Die. So this is the game that's coming from the same developers as Lost in Random, of course, but it's a completely different spin on the characters and on the world. So instead of it being a like third person adventure game where you're playing as like that little girl and you're throwing the dice to do things and you're using cards, which was a very dynamic and cool system, of course, they've kind of ditched all that. Well, not really ditched it, but they've changed it. They've morphed it a bit. And originally, I was kind of like disappointed. I'm like, oh, what are they doing? They're kind of not really ruining it, but they're kind of losing some of that charm from the original game that was so good. And they've just kind of retooled it essentially. So in this new Lost in Random game, it's like a top-down roguelite where it almost feels like Death's Door, if you remember Death's Door. Who doesn't? But that game was a top-down rogue. Well, that was more like a top-down Souls-like experience. But it had a very similar mechanics of like slashing, charge slashing, special moves and stuff like that. And you kind of get the same thing here, where you have this top-down perspective. You're going into random rooms, and you have your basic attacks, your charge attacks. Then you also have special abilities along with your dice. And this is where the game kind of starts to differ from Death's Door, where, of course, Death's Door is a story, Souls-like game. This one is a roguelite to its core, and it kind of starts splitting off from there. So essentially, you roll this die that you have, and the higher the number, the higher damage it'll do when it hits an enemy, which is pretty cool. So you just kind of throw it and it hits enemies. Your special abilities are these random cards that you get from some shops around the area. And they do a lot of different things, like create a chilling mist around your character, shoot out little balls that cause stagger on enemies. There's also one that you blow out like fire in front of you and stuff like that, which is pretty cool at a base level. If you time the button press well enough, you actually get a bonus to these moves. So not just shooting out one ball of stagger, but 3 balls at the same time, and they bounce off the walls. Or the fire isn't just in front of you, it's all around you, or the stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. It's something else to think about while you're playing the game. And then on top of all that, you have these runes or whatever that you equip to your character. Of course, they reset with every run. And what those do is if you line the same color rune up in a line, whether it be diagonal, horizontal, or diagonal, they will break and give you special boosts to your character. So you don't really get those boosts until you break the runes. So you want to line up like 3 blue in a row or 3 red in a row, and then you can get the different abilities from them. So you can add attack damage or defense negation, or just the speed of your rolls and stuff like that. You can really power up your character a lot with these different things. So that's also one of the things that's kind of unique and cool about the game is this whole rune system where you're kind of like placing in these different colored blocks into this pattern that you get and trying to make sure that you get the maximum amount of things you can from breaking these runes. So it's a very cool. I mean, I was really enjoying the game. Of course, Death Stranding 2 came out and I just kind of dropped it. But I will get back to it, of course. I think that it's a pretty fun game. You can do a couple quick runs here and there. The first like boss that you fight is like the Ornstein Smo of the game, which I'm like, already? I was just like, I was going into the boss arena. There was 2 floating heads, and I'm like, Ornstein Smo, right? Yep. One of them turned into like a skinny spear wielding enemy. The other one turned into a big like axe wielding enemy. I was like, here we go. It's Ornstein and Smo from Dark Souls. But there is variety in them too. It's kind of crazy because I died to them once and I was like, okay, well, I mean, I was almost there, so I went back through the level, and I got to the end, and I'm like, okay, here comes the spear guy, right? No, he was kind of the same like build as the spear guy, but he was doing magic attacks. He had like a staff on him, and I was caught off guard completely by this. I got hit like 5 times in a row, and then the other guy also has a variation of him, which does more magic attacks too. So there's like 4 different versions. Like there's 2 different versions of each character that you can get, which is pretty cool. So you never know what you're really going to get when you get to this point in the game. So I beat them eventually, probably about 5 runs in, and then I had I dropped the game for a little bit. So I am at the point where I am starting the second part of the roguelite experience, but I just haven't continued on from there. You might be wondering, well, Yummy, this is a roguelite game. What do you do with your character? How do you improve your character? And the way to do that permanently is to find these characters in the world, and then you bring them back to your little hub area. So there's like this helmet that you can find. You put the helmet on the robot in the hub area, and he becomes a weapons dealer. He can improve your weapons and sell you new weapons, depending on how much currency you get during through the game. There's also this like frog lady who can improve attributes of your character permanently. Give you more damage, give you more whatever. Right? It gives you all a bunch of stuff. There's also a wardrobe character who can change your costume. And the costume pieces also give you boosts when you change out your costume. So there's a lot of different things you can do in the hub area to improve your character as well. And so when I say roguelite, a lot of people go, "Oh, I don't want to play that. It's going to be too difficult." Blah 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 blah. This game is set up to be a not terrible, terribly difficult, I should say, not terrible, not terribly difficult roguelite, simply because I have been improving my character really quickly. Like it's actually been a bit like, wow, like this is going pretty speedy. I'm collecting a lot of resources in the field, and I'm kind of like upgrading my character, and I'm almost maxed out like my damage right now at this point. And I'm like, okay, well that's pretty cool. At least it gives you like a quick fix here. You can fix up your character really, relatively quickly. So I think that like in terms of roguelites, like if you're a person who doesn't usually play roguelites, I think this one's gonna be more your style because it does allow you to level up your character pretty quickly. There is also an easy mode that you can select on the game as well. There's normal and easy. I'm pretty sure once you beat normal, there'll be a hard mode, of course. But right now I'm playing on normal mode, and if you need to, there is an easier mode as well. For the people who maybe aren't as well versed at roguelike games, or maybe they don't like them as much, but just want to experience the game for its story or for its characters or whatever. Because I think in general, like the game is written pretty well. There is full voice acting in the game. There's one character that I can't stand the voice of, which is the shopkeeper, but everyone else is good. I enjoy everyone. It's not like the shopkeeper is doing a bad performance. It's just a very annoying voice that I don't like. So I usually skip past their dialogue. But everyone else has good voice acting. Character animations are really good. They kept that like Tim Burton style for the animation and graphics, which was a big selling point for the first game, of course. But it is a bit more reserved in that area. It's not as immersive as the first game was, because it is more of like I want to say that this is like a budget title in the Lost in Random universe, essentially. They didn't go as detailed with the character animations. They didn't go as detailed with the graphics, but it still looks good. It still looks akin to what Lost in Random did. It's just not as in-depth. It's not as polished as the Lost in Random game originally was. But this Eternal Die game is good. I'm enjoying it. It's on Xbox Game Pass if you want to check it out there. And I would give it a thumbs up. And I'm probably going to keep playing it in between Death Stranding 2 and see where we get. Next up, I played a little bit of Ruffy and the Riverside. This is a game that came out the same day as Death Stranding 2. So I did, because I also wanted to play this game, I downloaded Ruffy and the Riverside and then started to install Death Stranding 2. And once it said that it had updated and installed Death Stranding 2, I kind of stopped playing this. And I'm not going to like forget about it, but it is probably going to be on the back burner while I play Death Stranding 2, because that is my full attention right now. But Ruffy and the Riverside, it's a fun, jovial experience. It's all all the characters are hand drawn. All their animations are like layered on top of each other for the effect of the characters moving, which is pretty cool. Like, it's a very cool thing. If you want to listen to it, there's an interview with one of the lead designers or leads on the game. Maztec Gaming has a podcast called the Yemmy Indie Hangout Podcast, which I also was a part of 2 weeks ago at this point. If you want to check out that episode, I posted it into my Discord. But this most recent one was an interview with the Ruffy and the Riverside, one of the creators from that game. And it was a very, very interesting experience. They really dived deep into how the game was made and where the idea for the game came from, and a few little Easter eggs in there. Like, there's a lot of references to A New Hope, Star Wars A New Hope in there, and of course there's some nods to the games that inspired it, like Banjo and Mario and stuff like that. But I would recommend listening to that podcast episode, or the podcast in general, the Indie Hangout Podcast, with Pneumatics, Kronos, and Maztec Gaming. But anyway, my experience with Ruffy and the Riverside was like, look, I like to be honest on this podcast. I don't like to blow smoke up game's ass if it doesn't, like, if I don't think it deserves it. And even though I really enjoy the music of Ruffy and the Riverside, I think the graphics are amazing. I like the animation styles. I like how, I mean, I appreciate all the work that went into this game. There's just something not clicking with me right here. I don't know. I don't know if it's the movement. I don't know if it's the combat. I don't know if it's this whole swap mechanics just not like really grabbing me right now. But I was trying to really give it my all and get through, and just kind of like play the game and see what it's all about before moving on to Death Stranding 2. And with the couple hours, I played about 2 hours of the game. And by the time that it dinged and said Death Stranding 2 was available, I was kind of like, thank God. I don't, and I hate to say that because the people behind this game are so nice, and they crafted this really beautiful world and all this different stuff. But for me personally, it just really isn't clicking the way that I was hoping it would. And I was very excited for. I've been following this game since they originally revealed it. I don't remember where it was revealed, but I remember seeing it and being like, "Wow, that looks really cool," and adding it to my wish list like right away. And that was like 3 years ago at this point. So it's a game that I've been following for a while, and I feel bad because I really do want to like come on here and be like, yeah, I mean, it's so good. I really loved it, and I can't wait to play more. But at this point, it's like, yeah, I mean, it was fine. Like I wasn't like blown away by it. There is a hell of a lot of dialogue in here, and there is plenty of funny moments for sure. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of it was just like. I felt myself like starting to like roll my eyes and be like, okay, like I get it, like let's move on. And I hate to be outwardly negative, especially for an indie game. Like Captain Blood was obviously like an outlier. Like that game just kind of pissed me off. But this one, I just kind of feel more sad that I'm not enjoying it because I really want to enjoy this game. And hopefully, when I pick it, I'm not gonna leave it for that long. I'll definitely be picking it up sooner rather than later. Hopefully, on my next attempt at playing it, I will have a more positive experience. And I would say, like, the game's like $20. It's on sale for like 17 right now. I think it's well worth your money for sure. There's plenty to do in the world. Like I was just kind of roaming around, seeing what there was, and much like a game like Mario Odyssey or Banjo-Kazooie, there's plenty of like little things that you can stop and get distracted by, puzzles to solve, different ways to solve things. The swap mechanic obviously gives you a lot of options. You can swap like vines with the waterfall and climb up the waterfall, or you can swap wood with metal and it will make a floating platform for a little bit. There's stuff like that I think is very ingenious and very unique. And I just like, once again, I just wish that I was enjoying it more. Like I feel bad because maybe I went to this game with too hyped. I don't know. I was very excited to finally to get this in my hands, and while I was playing it, I was just not like feeling it right. But like I said, hopefully when the next time I play the game, I will be in higher spirits maybe, or more willing to, or not more willing, but just have a better experience in general with it. Because I mean, this is a great game. Like I said, the soundtrack is killer in this game. Like there's some really good songs in here. The animations for the characters in this game are out of this world. So fun, like so jolly at times, right? And I think that the story can go somewhere interesting, but right now it's just kind of been like, okay, yeah, okay, here we go. 5 minutes of dialogue. Here we go. So. Like I said, I'm just one, or maybe not like I said, but I am just one person who had a different experience with the game. But it seems like the general populace is enjoying the game a lot. And like I said, if you want to check out the creator talking very passionately about his game, definitely check out the episode of Indie Hangout podcast. I think that is going to be a pretty like that. I mean, it didn't sell the game for me because I was already sold in the game. But if when you listen to the creator talk, he's just so passionate, so happy about his game, and like that. That's why I kind of feel bad that I didn't I'm not like enjoying it to its fullest extent right now. But hey, c'est la vie. Everyone's different, and like I said, I like to come onto this podcast and be honest with you guys, and I'm just being honest. It just was not really clicking for me right now. But like I said, I'll update you guys after I try playing it some more, and hopefully next time that I talk about it, which we'll see when that is, will be much more positive. He's done it. He's playing more Sonic games. That's right. We played 2 more Sonic games this past week. One of them being Sonic Colors Ultimate. which I found to be very enjoyable. I was kind of confused by all the negative comments and negative, like not really negative reviews, but kind of average reviews for the game. And I don't know if it's because the Ultimate version, there was something weird about it when it first came out, but I'm just saying, like, I played the Ultimate version on the PS4, PS5, I should say, and I had, like, no issues with it. I thought it was pretty good. I really enjoyed my time with it. I thought that the level design being like this big floating amusement park and having like all these different planets be a part of the amusement park was really cool, like very cool. I thought the music was really good except for the theme song. I thought the theme song kind of sucked, but everything else about the game, I like the music in the game. I really enjoyed. I thought control wise, the game felt great. A lot of the levels were designed really well. Like I was having a lot of fun with them. Like the levels weren't just repeating over and over again. Like sure, there were some similar things in the same like acts, but for the most part, like every planet kind of had its own vibe, had its own like gimmick to it, which I really enjoyed. The boss fights were really good too. Like sometimes, like a lot of times, they would have like a regular version of the boss fight, like the giant wheel or whatever, and then they would do another version of it, which was harder, like not like way harder, but just harder in general. And I just felt like, yeah, that was a good way to do it. Like you started off with like, here's the basic idea. You beat that pretty quickly, huh? Well, here's the wheel again about 3, or 4 acts later, and he's got all this new stuff to him, and he's much more difficult. So I just really enjoyed those aspects of the game. I thought that was just like a really fun time there. Really, I mean, the only real criticism that I had for the game was that like the theme song just wasn't that great, and I mean, I don't know, like maybe the story could have been a little bit better. But that's the thing, like I thought the story was fun too, like the whole like amusement park angle and Sonic and Tails being in the amusement park and helping out these little ghostly characters, and they gave you like power-ups when you use them. Like I just thought it was a very fun time. Like I just had an enjoyable time with it, and once again, like if I didn't like it, I would definitely be honest with y'all, and I'm being honest right now by saying like I really enjoyed Sonic Colors Ultimate. I thought it was a great game, and I gave it a 4 out of 5. I thought it was really fun. A tier material right there. And then I also played Sonic 3D Blast, and that was, like I said, on the PS3 Sonic Ultimate Genesis Collection. And I was also shocked when I went onto GG and I looked at the ratings for it. It was pretty low, and I was like, what the heck is happening here? Like, this was another one that I really enjoyed my time with. Like, I thought it was actually a like really good time. Like, I was having so much fun with this one. I love the whole vibe of it. Like, it looks really fun in terms of like, the colors and like the polygon patterns and stuff like that. Like, it just is really cool. And then I like the idea of like killing the enemies, getting the birds out of them, and using the birds to advance to the next part of the stage. Like I thought that was just really fun. And like I know the 3D element can be a bit weird at times. In terms of like perspective, it can sometimes mess you up because it's not really truly a 3D game. It is still it's pretty much 2D sprites on a 3D plane essentially. And sometimes sometimes it can just mess you up in those platforming sections. Now, they knew this was a problem because they did not put that many platforming sections into the game. But when you do reach a section with platforming, sometimes it can be a bit annoying, and you have to redo something over and over again. But in general, I thought the music was great. I thought the level design was pretty good. I enjoyed the music in the game. Wait, I just said that. I enjoyed the music in the game a lot, as you can tell. I thought the boss fights were decent. Like, not all of them were great, but they did what they could with that. I overall liked the vibe of the game. I thought the graphics were fun. I like the bonus stages were also pretty cool. You like zoom out above the planet and you're like running across like these bridges and stuff trying to collect rings. I thought that was kind of cool. And there were some annoying enemies in the game, like these turrets that couldn't be killed that were like shooting you all the time. I thought those were really annoying. Probably the most annoying enemy in the game. And as I said, it's just the whole like perspective thing also kind of throw you off, just with the platforming and stuff like that. So some minor gripes with this one, maybe a big gripe with that with the platforming, I guess. But in general, like playing this game with a joystick was really good. And I tried to play the game with the D-pad for the first level, and I was like, this isn't really working out. But as soon as I used the joystick, baby, did the game feel good. So if you are struggling to, I guess, see the potential of this game, break away from the D-pad and put your finger on the joystick. I believe the only version you can play this game right now is DX. I guess it's not the only version, but you can play a version of this game called Sonic 3D Blast DX, which is like a fan-made remastered version of the game. I'm sure that's great, much like with the Triple Trouble version of Triple Trouble. But in my opinion, like just playing that PS3 version was fine. There's also a Steam version that's apparently was taken offline. Hopefully they'll bring it back up eventually onto the service. But if you didn't buy it back then, you're kind of shit out of luck with that. And it doesn't seem to be on any other collections. It's not on the Origins Plus collection or anything like that. But it is on that old school PS3 Sonic Ultimate collection. So if you want to check that out, there you go. But I think this is look, once again, I think that this is another underrated one. I feel like with the joystick controls, it is a contender for like a really fun Sonic game. Like maybe not the best Sonic game out there, but it is still a really fun Sonic game. It's a unique one too. Like out of all the different Sonic games you get, this one is pretty unique, all things considered. I just had a great time with it, and I gave it a B tier. I gave it a low 4 out of 5. I'll probably give it a 3.5 at the end of the day because it is B tier. I'll probably flip flop between that a couple times. I'll probably land on 3.5 though. But once again, it was a good time. I enjoyed it. It was better than any of the Game Gear games we played. It was better than the Secret Rings, of course. I found it was more enjoyable than a lot of Sonic games that we've already played. But of course, there are already ones that we have that are top tier, like Sonic 3 and Colors Ultimate was pretty fun too. But yeah, Sonic 3D Blast, had a good time with that. Both Sonic games this week were really good. The next one that we're going to be playing on Monday is Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed or something like that. So we'll see how that goes. Let's go ahead and move on to what's in the news. I guess technically this is what was announced at the Game Showcase, but we don't have a lot of news, so I'm not going to split it up. The Capcom Showcase happened in June here. It was this past week, and they showed off a lot of fun things. Here. I guess the thing that most people were interested in was, of course, Resident Evil Requiem, which was the final thing that they showed off. And that was more of like a creator message type thing with a bit of gameplay in there. So it was very much like, okay, a little bit of gameplay here, but mostly just the people developing the game talking, which is not a terrible thing. Obviously, they had a lot of cool things to say. They explained a lot of what was going on in the game, like, who your character is and what's going on. The game seems to be, once again, in the same, I guess, formula as Resident Evil 7 and 8, where I think the preferred method for playing this one is going to be first person from the developer's perspective. A lot of the puzzles kind of evolve around that first person perspective, and also like the holding objects and stuff like that makes sense, obviously. But there is the option, of course, to play in third person if you desire, which is the kind of classic. You could call it classic at this point, Resident Evil style. So you have the option for either one, and I think both of them are going to have their own quirks to them. Like if you want a more intense experience, I feel like the first person perspective might be a bit more intense, because in third person you can kind of see more of the world around you. But I guess it's just a preference thing at the end of the day, what you want to do. They also confirmed, yes, you're going to be going back to Raccoon City, and you're going to be investigating some stuff in Raccoon City, of course. It's going to jump off from the storyline from Resident Evil 2 and 3. So we'll see what ties in there to those games. And it looks like you're going to be kind of going around the old, I guess, broken down and blown up police station, but you might have some stuff to do in there. But you play as this this detective, like field detective, kind of like Bones or something like that, where you are following this case, and it's one of those weird ones. It's a bit of a weird one. I'm excited to see more about this game. Obviously, this is probably going to be one of, if not the most anticipated game for next year. They did confirm that it will be coming February 27th of 2026, so that's kind of like the sweet spot for Resident Evil games, I believe. Looks like it's going to be pretty good. And if you want to check out any of these videos, it's all on like Capcom's official YouTube channel. Also, they showed off Pragmata, however you say it. And this one is looking to be a bit more unique than I was expecting, because not only is the gameplay like a third person kind of like dodge at the right time, shoot at the right time type of game, but with the little girl who sits on your shoulder, you actually play hacking mini games during combat to expose the weak points on the enemy robots. So you have to kind of play this game of like tracing a line to the hacking point, and the more like blue blocks you, and I'm sure there's gonna be more stuff in the future, but the number of blue blocks you trace around will give you more damage or leave them open to attack for longer, which is pretty cool. And of course, you as your character, you now need to shoot the exposed weak points or dodge attacks when they're coming at you, which I'm sure it's going to get pretty hectic once they start introducing more enemy types and more variety of them on the screen at the same time. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's a really cool system. It's pretty unique, I would say. I don't think I've really seen something like this before, which is pretty cool. So they also confirmed like you're going to be going to some sort of lunar station, and it's going to be controlled by a rogue AI, kind of reminiscent of that storyline from the original Mass Effect game. And essentially, the whole facility has kind of been taken over, and this little girl who I believe is like an android, kind of like that Megan movie coming out, McThreegan. Well, maybe not really, but she's kind of like. She's like this android girl who decides to help you out. She actually saves your life or something like that at the beginning of the game. But yeah, I think this is going to be a really cool and interesting experience. And they did confirm like it's coming in 2026. That is when it's going to be coming out, confirmed. So I have to wait a little bit longer for this one, but it is looking to be very cool. I cannot wait to get my hands on this one. It is coming to Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam. If you want to wishlist it there. Street Fighter 6 announced that Sagat, he's coming to Street Fighter 6. He is the first fighter of year 3. And I believe Sagat, wasn't he like from the original game or something like that? I don't remember. Apparently there's also going to be possibly a new single-player storyline where you go to Thailand and face Sagat and learn his moveset. So that might be kind of cool. The trailer itself that they showed off didn't really show any gameplay for Sagat, so we don't know if there's anything really different about him from the other iteration of his character. But yeah, there you go. This is the first character for year 3, Sagat. There you go. Kunitsu Gami Path of the Gods is celebrating its first anniversary. And with that first anniversary, they're going to be releasing a new charm for your character that turns some of the music into an 8-bit style, which is kind of cool. This update will be coming July 2025, so we have to wait until next month for that. But that's a pretty cool like little thing that they did there. I don't believe there's really anything else about this update. They just gave you this new charm for the game, but I think it's a pretty cute little thing. It's a pretty cute little thing there. And then also, actually, finally, Monster Hunter Wilds is getting a free update number 2, and they mapped out the summer roadmap. Ooh. The legendary Leviathan, who will also be coming alongside Sergios. I've never played the game, so please, I apologize if I say these things wrong. They're also going to be giving you another weapon or layered weapons, whatever layered weapons is. There will be a host of improvements and additions to the game and more on June 30th. There will also be the Festival of Accord Flame Fete, which is a summer update or summer like event, along with something called Arc Tempered Uth Duna, and a special collaboration with Fender Guitars. Interesting, I suppose. So yeah, there you go. Monster Hunter Wilds new update is coming June 30th if you want to check that out. So there you go. Capcom Showcase. I guess it was fine. I mean, I should say, I guess it was good. I enjoyed the Pragmata stuff. I enjoyed the Resident Evil stuff. The rest of the stuff I don't really care about, but there you go. All right, some weird news in the Nintendo area. Mario Kart World got an update this past week that removed the ability to select random track from the course selection when you're playing in online races. Now, what this would do if you select random during the race would be it would give you a random track to play and you would do 3 laps around that track. So whether it be Moo Moo Meadows or Toad's Factory, whatever, you would just play that track instead of racing to the track, doing 1 lap around it, and then finishing the track. And this was a way for people to work around doing that whole, like, I guess they call them intermission races. But essentially, what that would do is, if you selected a map from the stages the game gave you, it would just do the race to the map, and then you would do 1 lap around the map. But if you selected random, it would select any map from the selection, and you would do 3 laps around that map. So what Nintendo did is they actually removed the abilities to select random from that selection during wireless versus races. And people were kind of angry about that, and I could definitely see why, because not everyone wants to play a race from point A to point B, every single time. You want to play these tracks, and some of the tracks are really cool to play. Like I was gonna say Moo Moo Meadows. Like that was not like super exciting to do 3 laps around, but it's like a quick course and 3 laps is doesn't take too long. It's like a really fast little jaunt there. Or like Toad's Factory is so cool to go around multiple times. Or Choco Mountain, or even there's that question block, giant gold question mark block map. Like these are cool courses that were designed very lovingly. Why do they want us only to do 1 lap around each track? I don't know. Kind of a weird thing. But a lot of people are rightfully angry about this because now they've removed the ability to even try to get a map that does three laps around a course. Now you can only do from point A to point B intermission races, which is not what people wanted. It actually came out that a vast majority of people, probably about 80% of the player base who are playing online modes, would pick the random option to try and get a full-blown track, like a regular track, instead of just doing the point A to point B races every single time. So this is obviously not sat well with people playing the game. People are saying that Mario Kart World is ruined, or Nintendo destroyed, or they ruined Mario Kart World. And I don't think that... I wouldn't go that far. But I will say that it is very boggling to my mind why they would do this. Like, it just seems like a really dumb idea. And maybe it was never meant to be that way. Maybe they're taking this option out because it was never supposed to be like that. But I just feel like it's very strange that they won't let you do a 3-lap race around any of these courses. You have to do point A to point B driving, which is, like, fun, don't get me wrong. But sometimes you just want to play a match that does 3 laps. And, of course, if you're playing with friends, you can still pick a map, or if you're playing co-op locally, you can still pick a map like that and race around the map 3 times. Do the regular laps. But they have removed that option for whatever reason from the online versus mode. Now, when I play Mario Kart, it's mostly just doing the knockout tournaments. I feel like that's the most fun and chaotic part of the game. And even though it's maybe not worth $80 to do that only, but that is the part of the game that's most enticing to me right now, is playing these knockout modes, because every single race feels different. It utilizes the open world perfectly, and it's a lot of fun to boot. Like, it's just a lot of fun to boot. So, yeah, there you go. Also, I want to take this moment to give a quick update from last week. I did post this in my Discord in the comments section on the latest YouTube video for Fair64. While I was talking about the developers putting their games not on regular Switch cartridges, but code carts, I did not know until recently that Nintendo is only offering code cards or 64 gigabyte cards to put games onto. So a company that is doing a game like Puyo Puyo Tetris or something else that's very small that's getting a code card, it costs about $16 per card to do the 64 gig cards, but it only costs less than $1 to make a code card. And if you have a game that's only 10 gigs, of course you're not going to want to spend the extra, $15 to produce a physical version of that game. So I do kind of understand where these developers are coming from, or publishers, I should say, are coming from, because who's going to want to buy a 64 gigabyte SD card essentially instead of just doing the really small, not even small, but just the code card that only costs $1. I understand where they're coming from completely, and I think that Nintendo needs to open up the avenue for them to get a smaller card. Like make a 20 gig card and produce it for like $3 a pop. I feel like companies would more likely be willing to purchase those instead of using the code cards, because right now the code cards are abundant. It seems like these are not going to be going away. Anything other than Nintendo, like official games and of course Cyberpunk, seems to be coming to a code card, and I think it's because Nintendo is kind of putting a stranglehold on these studios who maybe they want to do a physical game, maybe they really want to put all the data on that physical cartridge, but because the price tag is a lot more for the 64 gig Nintendo Switch 2 cartridge, they're not biting, and they just go, okay, well, we'll just do a code card then, or whatever, a code cart. And there are still the odd code in a box out there, which should be phased out at this point because, the code cards are, I guess the codes in the box are like pennies to produce, so I guess there's where they're saving money, I guess. Yeah, last week I was wrong, and even though a lot of my points still stand, I was wrong about the fact that they should just put it on a smaller Switch cartridge, or they should just do that. I now understand more so now that why they're not doing that. So sorry about that, $1 million companies. And finally, for the news today, THQ Nordic is doing a showcase on August 1st, 2025. It'll start around 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. in Europe. This is going to be jam-packed with multiple game features, including Wreckfest 2, Reanimal, The Eternal Life of Goldman, Gothic 1 Remake, Titan Quest 2, and more. I'm also hoping to see the new Styx game in here. Maybe we'll get a release date for that or some gameplay for that. I think that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, this is going to be on August 1st if you want to check that out. THQ Nordic Showcase. A lot of the THQ Nordic shows are usually good. It's like a AA studio that is doing their best at this time, and I feel like a lot of their games are fun, at the very least, and I'm sure that there will be some new things that they announced here as well. So yeah, we'll check that out on August 1st. Let's go ahead and move on to what's coming soon. Okay, Little Nightmares 3 had its little showcase or whatever this past week, and they did announce some things that are be coming soon, including Little Nightmares 3, which will be releasing on the 10th of October this year for PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, etc. There is a new trailer on the PlayStation YouTube channel if you want to check it out there. That just kind of shows off some of the gameplay, and of course, it does have all the Little Nightmares charm that you can ask for. And it looks like the game is going to be mostly playable in a co-op way, or if you only have one person, I'm sure an AI is going to take control of the other character, kind of like Little Nightmares 2 did. Yeah, I mean the game's looking pretty cool. I like the new character designs. One has a crow mask, the other one has a gas mask on. Pretty cool there. Seems like they're keeping the style of the original games, of course. And yeah, so this is coming October 10th. If you pre-order the game, you will get the Dark 6 costume set, which changes up your character's look, of course. And if you pre-order, you can actually play the Little Nightmares Enhanced Edition. I believe you can play that for free, which is kind of cool too. So if you don't know, Little Nightmares 1 is getting an Enhanced Edition, which is also going to release on October 10th. You can, of course, pre-order the game, which will give you access to it instantly when the game unlocks. Also, in the Deluxe Edition, you're going to get 2 additional chapters with the expansion pass, as well as an extra few costume sets as well. So, yeah, this whole thing is looking pretty good. I'm very interested in playing this, especially because Little Nightmares 2 kind of resold me on the game. I wasn't huge on Little Nightmares 1. I was like, yeah, it's fine, but it's not as good as some of the other isometric kind of 2D games that I played. But Little Nightmares 2 was a real treat. I really enjoyed that game. And Little Nightmares 3, I'm going into it with an open mind, of course. But yeah, so there you go. Pretty cool indeed. Nintendo's Drag X Drive got a reveal for its price and launch date. So it's going to be $20, which is not terrible in my opinion. And it'll be coming out on August 14th. So that's our August release, folks. Not Metroid. No. Drag X Drive. Now, I'm sure the game is going to be good. Like I think that is a pretty cool concept, right? You're in the wheelchairs and you're using the mouse controls to kind of like move and steer and steer your cart around and do your shots, right? Just kind of like with Rematch, I don't know how much longevity this one's going to have, much like ARMS back in the day when that released on the Switch. But I think that it has some really cool potential in it, of course. I really like the idea. I like the concept of this. I like the inclusion here as well for handicapped people. Yeah, if you want to check that out, that'll be available on the 14th. There wasn't like a new trailer or anything released, just a quick post on Twitter. They did also let you know that it will be 3-on-3, 3v3. So instead of it, I am wondering if there's going to be multiple ways to play the game, but it looks like 3v3 is going to be the big contender there. So if you want to check that trailer out, it is on Nintendo of America's Twitter channel or Twitter site, Twitter page. For $20, you can get Drag X Drive. The new Terminator game, which is looking amazing, by the way, got some gameplay revealed on IGN's YouTube channel. Terminator 2D No Fate is looking very, very good. So they definitely took a lot of inspiration from games like Contra and Metal Slug, which that's a key to my heart there. They obviously the game looks like an old school Genesis, like Sega Genesis or something like that kind of game, where it's got this pixel artwork style and these like really cool backgrounds, and then also like your character is kind of looks like a real person, just kind of like put into the game, kind of like they did back in the day with like the Mortal Kombat games. The main like real key thing about this game is there's a cover system. So there's places where you can actually take cover and shoot from behind cover, and of course there's also rolling and stuff like that. The main goal of the game, of course, is to go through and fight the Terminators, and there's also going to be some levels in the 90s where you play as Sarah Connor, so you're not just playing as John Connor, you'll also be playing as Sarah Connor at times. And Sarah Connor has a few different moves than John Connor. So John has like a grenade they can use and a roll move, where Sarah Connor's going to have a slide move and a melee move instead of a grenade move. So we'll see how that kind of changes things up. They also said that there's going to be a couple of vehicle sections where you're on rails kind of doing a vehicle section, which might be kind of cool too. If you want to check out the gameplay, though, it's on IGN's YouTube channel. I think I would really suggest you watch this because it is pretty cool looking. This game is set to release sometime this year. Did they give a release date? No, but you can wishlist it now. I'm guessing it's going to come pretty soon. I mean, I don't know how long it's going to take for this to come out. Oh, I'm sorry. It comes out September 5th. So there you go, September 5th. All right, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds is coming soon. It is also coming in September 25th. And they revealed some DLC that's going to be coming out. There's going to be 10 free post-launch Sega-adjacent racers, and there's also going to be several premium DLC racers added to the game, along with their own tracks. So we already had Minecraft revealed that Minecraft was going to be coming to the game, of course, right? Along with some free characters like Ichiban from Like a Dragon and Joker from Persona 5. But recently they revealed that SpongeBob SquarePants, along with Patrick Star, will be playable in the game with a new vehicle called the Paddy Wagon, and there will also be a bikini-bottomed track to race around as well. That's going to be some DLC for after the game launches. And then they also revealed that not only is SpongeBob coming to the game, but also Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Avatar Legends, which means that probably Aang and Korra are probably going to be added to the game as well. And for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I can only guess that probably Michelangelo and Leonardo or something like that is going to be added to the game. Maybe Master Splinter, maybe. But that's pretty cool too. Now, my one gripe about the game right now is that they're selling this one for $70. And that just feels like too much money to me, in my opinion. The Switch version is $10 less, which is the Switch version, of course. That's for $60, which is kind of like, okay, maybe I'll get that. But I just feel like $70 for this game. It's a Sonic racing game. Like, is it really going to be worth $70? Like, you're kind of pushing it there for me personally. I'll probably wait for a sale on this one, but it looks pretty cool. I mean, I like what I see. It's not like I don't like what I see. It looks good, but just the price tag is just not my favorite thing ever. All right, Dying Light 2 is still getting updates along with the original game as well. The original game also had an update. So the original game got a bit of a retouched update. They're not calling it a remaster, but they did spice up some of the graphics in the game. And Dying Light 2 also got this little update as well to kind of next gen the game a little bit. Now, like I said, don't call it a remaster. They just kind of spruce some things up here or there. The main reason why I'm talking about this, though, is that Balatro is being added into Dying Light 2. You can actually get a Balatro Jimbo outfit along with a blueprint for the ceremonial dagger, which increases damage multipliers, a Joker charm, which randomly creates one of 12 Joker effects, and then a flying blind paraglider, which is a special paraglider for the costume, which is pretty cool. So that will be available in-game, I guess right now. It's actually available right now, which is pretty cool. Alongside the Balatro update, they're going to be celebrating some community creations with 4-week festival highlighting different pieces of content. There'll be featured maps, new bounties to complete, and different visual mods to equip as well. So, kind of cool. They kept their promise, though. They said there was going to be 5 years of content for Dying Light 2, and I guess they went along with that. We'll see how much content they put out after the new game comes out, Dying Light the Beast. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, that weird, off-the-wall pixel junk game called Dreams of Another has got a new trailer on PlayStation's YouTube channel showing off some of the PSVR 2 capabilities of this game, which is kind of nice to hear. The game's standout feature is its use of point cloud rendering, where space is visualized as a collection of floating particles. On the PSVR 2, this technique truly shines, enveloping the player in a dreamlike world where your body feels as though it's dissolving into the environment. The result is a mysterious and deeply immersive sensation, like traveling within a dream itself. Thanks to VR, players can feel that they physically exist within these worlds made up of nothing but particles. So yeah, essentially, you're using this gun to shoot the particles and make the world look more clear for you to walk through. And yes, it's a very off-the-wall and weird kind of thing. This will be available later in 2025. I'm wondering if there's going to be a physical version of this game, which would be kind of cool. But as of right now, we just know it's coming in 2025, and there is PSVR 2 support, which is very nice to hear because there's not a lot of games coming out that do that. I said do. I did it. Everybody's Golf Hot Shots had a new trailer come out on the PlayStation YouTube channel. Just going over the kind of the basics of the game. I think that the PS5 version of the game looks a lot better than the Switch version, of course. I'm sure the Switch 2 version will be kind of on par with the PS5 version because it's not like this is a very graphically intense game. Now, if you don't know, Hot Shot Golf was the original name of the series, and now they're calling this game Everybody Golf, and it's a weird thing to have the subtitle be Hot Shots because that's kind of where the game started. Now, they just kind of showed off how the game works, the different gauges, how to shoot the ball. But the main thing to talk about is at the very end, they showed Pac-Man. That's right. Namco Classic Pac-Man will be in the game. If you pre-order the game, you will unlock the character early. So I'm guessing you can earn him in the game by playing, but you can also unlock him early. What you know. So there you go. That was the main thing that I wanted to talk about there. There's going to be a new Bubble Bobble coming to the Switch in 2025. This one's going to be called Bubble Bobble Sugar Dungeons. This will be released November 27th, very later this year. Wow. Taito's Bubble Action Series Bubble Bobble returns in a completely new game. More quests, more power, all new Bubble Bobble experience. The bubble-blowing dragon Bub embarks on a grand adventure through sweet dungeons that change every time. So it's like a roguelite. Blow bubbles to catch bullies. Use your horns and spikes to burst the bubbles and beat them. Bubbles ride the wind and can carry you off to high places by riding bubbles, gather treasures in ever-changing dungeons, collect treasures and level up your abilities, be stronger with Bub, and go deeper into the dungeon. I think that's like a cute concept. If you don't know, the original Bubble Bobble is an arcade game where you blow enemies into bubbles and then pop them, of course. But it was kind of one note, and a lot of times there have been a couple of Bubble Bobble games that come out. I don't really remember the rest of them because honestly, besides from the first one, they're kind of forgettable. Maybe this one will be different though. It does seem to be kind of a unique take on the series, even if it is just a roguelite at the end of the day. But there you go. Worms Armageddon Anniversary Edition is getting a free update, and it's adding 3 more games to it. And they are Worms on the SNES, Worms on the Mega Drive/Genesis, and Worms World Party on the Game Boy Advance. So that ups the number of games to like 15 or something like that on this collection, which is pretty cool. If you don't know what Worms is, where have you been? Essentially, you play as these little worm characters, and you try and blow each other up with various weapons. And it's all random, and the environment is usually destructible. Yeah, I think that's a pretty cool addition. I wish that it was on the disc because I bought my copy like last year sometime, and it would be cool to have these additions on the disc, and maybe they'll update the disc eventually. But I won't buy the game again. But there you go. For people who already own the game, there's some extra goodies for you right there. A new racing game is coming out called Fatal Run 2089. This is a pretty cool looking, fast-paced sci-fi kind of game where it's like a Mad Max type world. You have guns and stuff and weapons on your cars, and you're racing through like these industrial sci-fi worlds or these tracks. There's also seems to be a bit of a story in the background. It kind of reminds me of that Death Race kind of vibe to it, where the cars are like very powerful with guns and stuff on them, and you're trying to kill everyone. This is coming in fall of 2025. Fatal Run 2089 is an arcade adventure racing game that takes you through an arcade adventure. Okay. There's 20 levels in the game, plus, of course, racing, as you may or may not have guessed. It looks pretty good. Soundtrack's pretty bopping, too, if you want to check out the trailer on PlayStation's YouTube channel. All right, a fan-made Halo game is going to actually release on Xbox, but they've had to make sure that you know that it's not an official Halo or Xbox-sanctioned game. So what this game is called is Spartan Survivors. You can actually download and play it right now on itch.io, but you will soon be able to play it on Steam, PlayStation, and Xbox. Actually, I don't know if it's on PlayStation. Hold on. No, it's not going to be on PlayStation. Sorry. Just Xbox, Steam, and itch.io. Like I said, you can play it right now if you want to on itch.io, but there will be an Xbox and Steam version. The game is very much similar to Vampire Survivors or Bro-Tato. You play as like the Master Chief type character in the middle who is shooting various weapons that you pick up off the ground, and of course you upgrade your character as well. Everything kind of shoots automatically for you. You just kind of aim where you want the bullets to go, and you also walk around on the map collecting gems or whatever. And you kill the various different enemies, like Flood-type enemies and Halo, like Covenant grunts and stuff like that. So, yeah, it could be a fun little game. Hopefully it's not too expensive. I would like to try this one out. I think it's kind of a cute little thing. And like I said, it is approved by Halo and Xbox, but they wanted to make sure that everyone knew this is not an official Halo game, a part of the Halo canon, I guess. But they did get the approval, which is kind of a rare story in the whole universe of fan-made games. A lot of times they'll just be shut down, but this one, it looks like Xbox is embracing this, and they're okay with it. And hopefully when it comes out, it gets some good reception. I mean, I know it's already out on itch.io, but a big release on Steam or Xbox, that's going to really get the eyeballs going to it. All right, Super Mario Strikers is the first addition to the Nintendo GameCube selection. And what a way to go. Called Mario Smash Football in the UK. Super Mario Strikers will be out on July 3rd for the expansion pass members and the GameCube collection. This is a 5v5 soccer or football game. You have like one hero on your team, like Mario or Luigi or whatever, and the rest of your roster is pretty much filled up with Koopa Troopas, Toads, or the like. and you go through either like a story mode, going and beating Bowser at the end of the day, or you can just play your friends online or local co-op in a few matches there. I think this was a perfect one to start off with. Mario Strikers is one of the most beloved Mario games out there. It's just a great experience. I remember it being so good, and I'm excited to try it out again. Me and Greedy Waffles used to play this game a lot. It's one of the reasons why I got into like Mario sports games. This was one of the first ones. Also, goddamn, Daisy and Peach, they look good in this game. What can I say? But anyway, if you want to check this out, like I said, that'll be available July 3rd, the first of the big GameCube games to come to the service after the initial releases, of course. We're still waiting for Mario Sunshine, Fire Emblem, and Pokemon Coliseum, along with Chibi Robo. We'll see when those games decide to come out, but as of right now, Mario Strikers, not a bad first game to get for this GameCube collection. And then finally, here are our PlayStation Plus games, essential games for the month of July. These games will be available to download July 1st. They are Diablo 4, The King of Fighters 15, and Justant. I think all three of these games you're gonna have some fun with. Justant, though, not my favorite game from this list. I thought it was a relatively boring climbing game. Diablo 4, pretty big get, in all honesty. I already own the game. I just never played through the entire thing. I meant to get back to it, but of course other things came up. But I think people are widely happy with that one. And then King of Fighters 15, I never have played a King of Fighters game, but I hear that they're pretty good fighting games, so maybe I'll try this one out eventually down the road. There you go. 3 games there that are going to be coming to the PlayStation Plus Essential Service on July 1st. And that'll do it for today, folks. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. Let's go ahead and do the Song of the Day, or the Song of the Pod. If you know the song's name and the game that it came from, let me know in the comments below, or on Spotify, or on the Discord, I should say, or on Discord, because Spotify also has comments now, which I keep forgetting. And then also on YouTube, if you comment down below, I will give you a heart and a congratulations. On the Discord, you will get a super reaction and the admiration of your peers. Let's go ahead and listen to today's song right now. All right, once again, if you know the song name, the game that came from, let me know in the places that I told you. All right, folks, thank you so much for listening to this episode once again. If you want to check me out, it's all at Yemmy the Ferret, whether we're on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, etc. Link to the Discord is also down below if you want to chat with me on there. I stream on Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. We're doing our summer Sonic event, and we're playing Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed on Monday. If you want to check that out, should be a fun time. I also do a podcast called Film Freaks where we talk about movies. The most recent episode is about the good, the bad, and the ugly from 1966, if you want to check that out. And the other podcast I do is, of course, Fubar Ferret, that releases monthly. There should be a new episode coming out July 2nd, if you want to check that out. All right, folks, they're shooting off fireworks in the background. I don't know if you can hear that. I am Yemmy the Ferret, and this has been another episode of Ferret 64. Hope to see you next week. So long.
The Ferret 64 podcast is owned and edited by Yemmy the Ferret. Small sound clips used throughout the podcast were made by Yemmy the Ferret. The song in the intro and outro is Nightshade by Adhesive Wombat. The Ferret 64 logo was made by Player2P2. News sources include PushSquare.com, NintendoLife.com, and PureXbox.com. All opinions, video game related, are my own. Thank you for listening.